Over the last 4 years, yours truly, Freedom Watch, my private law firm, has done everything it can and we can to help President Donald Trump. We fought for him even though he never asked for us to help him. We fought for him even though I wrote to him and tried to communicate with him and got no response. We fought for him because it was the right thing to do and because him being president is a million times better than what we're now probably going to get, which is Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. But the president has to understand, even though I've been kept away from him, obviously, by Roger Stone, who I've had to sue on behalf of Dr. Jerome Corsi and myself about 6 times for defamation, he has to understand that he can't play things both ways. And this is why I'm probably one of the few people out there that will actually talk the truth and be constructively critical. You can't at the same time claim that you were screwed by the legal system, that you were screwed by the courts, which he was, by his own judges, by the way, in large part, Gorsuch, Kavanaugh, Barrett on the Supreme Court, and a lot of lower level judges too. And I talk about this in my book, It Takes a Revolution, which you can purchase at Amazon.com and all the major booksellers. The judges that he appointed are a little different than the Obama and Clinton judges. They have no guts, and they're in it for themselves, and they're establishment Republican hacks by and large. But when he goes out in his final days and pardons people like Roger Stone, and frankly, I could understand giving clemency to Manafort, but not pardoning him. Manafort committed major crimes. So did some of the others. But to pardon Stone is something which is for appearance purposes. It really won't affect me in our lawsuits because under Rule 402 of the Federal Rules of Evidence and equivalent in state courts, a conviction for a crime, particularly for lying, which Stone was convicted of on 5 counts, obstruction of justice, threatening witnesses, and witness tampering, that'll come before the jury. So it really doesn't affect my case. And the irony is that some of these cases are in jurisdictions that are not real friendly to either Stone or Donald Trump. So the fact that Trump pardoned him on the last days of his presidency will probably have a negative effect. But I'll tell you something, I do have a problem with this because if you don't respect the legal system, then how do you expect the legal system to respect you? And although the legal system has not respected Trump, he should at least hold his head high and do the right thing. And to pardon a lowlife like Roger Stone, who slips around like a snake. In fact, he prides himself on being a dirty trickster. He thinks that's great. He thinks lying and cheating and everything else are great. That's part of his game. This is not the kind of person you want to hang around with. And if by the grace of God, the president does pull it out and take my advice and the advice of others, that he should declare martial law and have free and fair elections, he's got to rid himself of the likes of Roger Stone. Because as the old expression goes, as I was about to say, when you hang around excrement, you start to smell like it. And that's been the big problem I've had with the president in many ways. Also the fact that he tends to shoot his mouth off a lot without actually following through, like with the China virus. No compensation for the American people. Instead, we've got to pay $2,000 per person for that. Admirable thought. But you know what? Why shouldn't the Chinese pay any more than the Mexicans should have paid for the wall? And that wasn't done either. So while I think he did a lot of great things, and I would like him to stay in office, and I fought for him the entire way, he's got to sober up if, in fact, by the grace of God, he does continue as a president and get good people around him, not just people that were his friends in the past that helped him in the gambling industry like Stone or others. That's not a very honest industry to start with, and that's putting it mildly. But he's got to have really good people around him. And even if he goes off and starts a network, which I hope he will, and does away with Fox and Newsmax, run by someone, Chris Ruddy, who gave $1 million to the Clinton Foundation, but now, as an opportunist, claims that he's the Trump News Network. Well, you know what? Unless things change radically, there isn't going to be a President Trump. It'll be just a private citizen Trump. But if he does escape from this like Houdini, again, I hope he does, because the thought of the criminal Joe Biden and the evil witch, pathological liar Kamala Harris is something which has depressed everybody. It doesn't depress me because we're doing something about it. And that's why I wrote my book, It Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry. We have to rise up. The American people can do it for themselves. We can fight a peaceful and legal revolution. We can take it all back. But whatever the president does, hang around good people. And if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander. And no matter what anybody does to you in terms of this corrupt legal profession and legal system, you hold your head high. You don't stoop to their level. And by pardoning people like Stone, you have stooped to their level. And that's my message for today. Take it to heart. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. But remember that if we're going to keep this country, and if we're going to have any more holidays where we can be merry and happy, we better rise up now. We have to do it for ourselves. There's no political Messiah. The only Messiah, and we celebrate his birthday tomorrow, is Jesus Christ. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Until then, God bless you. The Father blesses you. The Son blesses you. Larry Klayman, a simple layman, or should we say Klayman, to the extent I can, I bless you. And have a Merry Christmas.